Says live, dude. All right. So listen, guys. New comic book weekly. The order of topics for today, we're going to be looking at some of the upcoming pull list items that I have for this week. So if you guys are interested in making a pull list or anything like that, um, definitely stay tuned for what I'm picking up for the week of what's tomorrow's date? For the week of November 19th, dude. So yeah, look forward to that. And then we're also going to be doing some comic book reviews. So everything that came out last week that I want to talk about, we got 8 things here. So that should be pretty cool. Really good stuff that came out last week, man. So we'll get into that. And then I'm going to go over my overall pull list. So a couple weeks ago, you guys might have seen me going over the DC portion of this pull list. We'll like review it, but then we'll also get into what I'm pulling from Marvel, Image Comics, and the other indie publishers over the next couple months, right? So that's the order of topics for today. And then we're going to finish it off by doing an action figure unboxing, of course. You guys see, we got the Scarecrow, dude. So, been meaning to unbox this for a couple weeks now. It's about time we get to it. If you guys remember last time, I unboxed this awesome McFarlane Joker. Pretty, maybe the definitive Joker. I'm not sure. You guys let me know. But yeah, so we're going to be unboxing the Scarecrow as well, doing a series of McFarlane villains, trying to fill out the McFarlane villain show, if you guys can kind of see there. But yeah, that's the order of topics for today. We're going to go over my weekly pull list for the week of, what is it, November 19th. We're also going to be doing some comic book reviews, everything that came out last week that I want to talk about. We're going to go over my overall pull list over the next couple months. What are the new comics coming out that I want to check out? And then we're going to be unboxing this Scarecrow, dude. So that's what we got. And let's begin. Let's begin by taking a look at some of the stuff coming out for this week's new comic book day. If you guys aren't familiar with this app, it's called League of Comic Geeks. I get that question all the time. They have a cool feature where you can set up your pull list and then you can stay organized with everything coming out from the comic book shops, man. So this is what we got week of November 19th. First up, we got Absolute Flash. I'm sure that a lot of people have dropped off Absolute Flash. I don't blame you guys. I don't blame you guys one bit. But for me, I'm hanging on. I'm hanging on, all right? Because we got Nick Robles coming back on to do the art. Of course, we got Jeff Lemire writing it. The last couple issues I thought have dipped down just a little bit, you know what I mean? Where the issues previous, it was like a high point for the series. So this series has been really up and down, kind of a slow start. We're gonna keep it going though, but I definitely don't blame anybody if you ended up dropping this. Absolute Flash number 9. We also got Captain America number 5. I'm hoping my shop has a copy for me. They didn't have a copy for me for issue number 4. There was some confusion. Should I, did I want it on my pull list or not? I definitely want it on my pull list. So issue number 4 I got in late, but hopefully they got issue number 5 for me tomorrow. This series is so good, man. Chip Zdarsky's just killing it. Valerio Schiti on the art and Frank Martin on the coloring. It's just a really great creative team. They're just doing great stuff with this Captain America. What the hell, a Toy Story cover? I'm not picking. That won't be the variant cover that I'm picking up, But yeah, Captain America number 5. It's been excellent so far. I don't know if anybody else has been reading it. We got Seth. What is it? Seth the Tech. Seth the Tech says, "Hey, what's up, dude? Thanks for joining, man. Appreciate you joining." Moving right along, we also have the second sort of crossover thing from DC and Marvel. I don't know if you guys caught it actually. Maybe it was last week. They did some digital only releases. I think it was like Shazam and Thor, and then it was like Fantastic Four and forgot. Oh, Flash, Fantastic Four and Flash, something like that. So if you guys haven't checked those out yet, I haven't checked them out myself, but I heard they're pretty good, pretty fun, little short reads on the digital only side. But of course, this week we also have the return of Batman Deadpool. This is the DC side of the crossover. So we got, if I'm being honest with you guys, a lot more, stories that I'm looking forward to a lot more in this one versus the Marvel and DC one. Thought that one was all right. But in this one, dude, we get some. I'm trying to look here. Yeah, because I know that Grant Morrison and Dan Mora, I believe, are doing the main crossover story in this. So the Batman Deadpool. And then let's just take a look, guys. We got James Tynion IV, Scott Snyder, and Joshua Williamson are teaming up with Hayden Sherman for Constantine Doctor Strange. That sounds sick. I mean, that creative team right there, Scott Snyder, Tynion, Joshua Williamson, and Hayden Sherman, just four of the top, comic book creators in the game right now. So they're doing Constantine Doctor Strange. That's cool. Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo are bringing us Nightwing and Laura Kinney Wolverine. That's really interesting, dude. So that should be pretty cool. The weirdest one out of the bunch is probably Mariko Tamaki and Amanda Connor. They're bringing us Harley Quinn and the Hulk. So Harley Quinn and the Hulk crossover, that's a weird one. I didn't expect them to cross over. So that might be like the weirdest story out of the bunch. And then we have G. Willow Wilson, Dennis Cohen. We have a Static and Miss Marvel story. I'm loving that Static Shock is getting so much love. You got that crossover series with Batman Beyond as well. So Static Shock's getting a lot of love. But yeah, that's what we got with the DC Marvel Batman Deadpool #1, the second crossover. This is DC side of it. And let's flip through some of the variant covers, dude. So, oh, that's pretty cool. Lee Bermejo got Doctor Doom choking out the Joker. Okay, we got some Zatanna Scarlet Witch. Okay, some Captain America. These are cool, man. Okay, nice. We got the Absolute Batman with the Punisher from Nick Dragotta. That's interesting. Storm Wonder Woman. That's super cool. Yeah, man, a lot of cool covers from this. I'm not like a variant cover kind of guy, but some of these are like this one, dude. The Hayden Sherman. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so that's one of the releases for November 19th to Comic Book Day I'm looking forward to. Let's keep it moving though. Everything Dead and Dying. If you guys aren't reading this zombie story from Image Comics, you're really missing out. Tate Bromble is just a creator that's just killing it. Over on the DC side, he's really killing it. But then he's got this great zombie story coming out with artwork from Jacob Phillips. Loving the cover on that one. And then we got some variant cover here from Jacob Phillips. And if you're not reading it, man, it's just a really solid zombie story. I know zombie stories have been kind of overplayed sometimes, right? Chewy Queso coming in saying the Avengers of writers in this hole. Yeah, true. Actually, just going back really quick to the yeah, just look at this. Gio Wilson, Grant Morrison, James Tynion IV, Joshua Williamson, Rico Tamaki, Scott Snyder, Tom Taylor. That's just a crazy lineup right there, man. But jumping back over to the Everything Dead and Dying, if you're waiting to trade weight this, I get it. But man, 3 issues in, this is like one of my favorite series of the year. That issue #1 just hit me like a punch in the face, man. Excellent stuff there. And yeah, issue 2 was great. Looking forward to continuing with issue #3. Everything Dead and Dying. Exquisite Corpses #7. This is the James Tynion IV. We just mentioned him. He's working with Michael Walsh and Claire Rowe on this one. It's a battle royale story that takes place around Halloween, and takes place in Maine as well. So hitting a lot of different a lot of points that I'm into, right? Michael Walsh on the art. Yeah, battle royale story. It's about all these killers trying to kill each other, and the last one alive, they win sort of the competition. But we have all these innocent civilians that are just in the crossfire. So yeah, interesting story so far. Issue #7. I feel like this series is really flying by. Definitely trade weight that one. It's pretty good. I think volume #1's already out for that. G.I. Joe #14, Dreadnought War Part 2. I thought the last issue, issue 13, was great. I did a reread of everything previous to the Dreadnought War. So, I'm all caught up on G.I. Joe. I think it's excellent stuff. Might be my favorite part of the Energon universe. Very well could be, man. So, yeah, Joshua Williamson. We got Tom Riley, the main artist for the series, coming back. Jordi Bellaire on the colors. Excellent creative team. And yeah, G.I. Joe is just killing it, man. It's really ripping. If you see the cover here, possibly, we got Duke and Cobra Commander teaming up or something. Something weird's going on, man. So if you haven't been reading G.I. Joe, definitely think you should, man. It's pretty good stuff from Skybound Image. Moving right along. High Strangeness #2. This is an anthology series. I'll be honest with you, I'm only picking it up because Zach Thompson's attached, man. So I liked issue #1. I forgot who the creative team of issue #1 was. Let's see. Chris Condon, there you go, and Dave Chisholm, right? So I like issue #1. Great creatives attached, and looking forward to issue #2. Zach Thompson coming in with it's like a anthology story, like alien encounter, sort of like the weirdness So if you're into stuff like that, definitely check it out. This one, it's got is this one focused on is focused on UFOs. Prison transfer bus crashes at an isolated forest road in Washington State. The lone survivor running into the woods. He fights off a mysterious creature, dude. A juvenile Sasquatch. If you guys are into Bigfoot stories, this sounds pretty cool, man. Moving right along, we have the conclusion to the New Gods from DC Comics. We got a question coming in from Seth the Tech. He says, "Do you think DC or Marvel will make a Christmas themed comic or a story that takes place during Christmas?" Funny you mentioned that. So next week, I think I'm gonna go over the number ones coming out in the month of December, and there are quite a few Christmas themed releases. I would say that maybe Marvel does one, DC does one. I don't think they do too many Christmas themed stuff. But yeah, so that should be pretty cool. I'll go over those next week. Um, but yeah, I'm assuming they did last year, so I would assume that DC and Marvel have some Christmas plans. Rom V has been killing it with this series. We got Evan Cagle on the art. I think they work really well together. And yeah, this seems like it's going to be the conclusion to New Gods. If you guys have been waiting for this to come out in a trade, it's excellent stuff, man. And Rom V is like the perfect pick for New Gods. Having a partner like Evan Cagle brings like the sense of scale that's required by the New Gods, right? It's just really, really excellent stuff. Is the New Gods in trade? Yeah, let's check real quick. Nice question from Chewy Queso. Jumping over here, it looks like the New Gods trade number 1 is out. That came out in August, and it looks like volume number 2 comes out in March. So you're gonna have to wait a little bit for that second trade, or you can read it on DC Universe Infinite, of course, also available to read on there, 1 month behind. But yeah, man, I'm excited for this conclusion to the New Gods. Hopefully, Ron and Evan Cagle get a chance to continue their New Gods story, because you can see like there's some disparate pieces that I'm interested in how they'll tie it all up. But hopefully, they can continue it, man, because it's like the perfect creative team to bring the New Gods back, man. So, New Gods number 12 coming out tomorrow. Looking forward to that. News from the Fallout number 6. The conclusion to this sort of zombie kind of story written from Chris Condon with artwork from Jeffrey Allen Love. The art looks like the cover here, so it's very like washed out, very monotone sort of look, very unique look from Jeffrey Allen Love. Not a lot of comic books looking like this. Chris Condon is just a writer that's killing it. So I've been loving this series. News from the Fallout. We've learned that it's like a zombie apocalypse sort of thing. It's like a sci-fi sort of slant to how the zombie apocalypse sort of started. And yeah, news from the Fallout. If you guys are waiting for the trade, let's see when the trade's coming out. Trade's coming out March as well. So March 17th, the trade for that. But as you guys can see, I've been rating each issue like four out of five, 4.5 out of five. So news from the Fallout, great stuff there. A couple more issues to talk about before we get into our weekly comic book reviews, everything that came out last week. And then, of course, we're going to go over the pull list. So everything I've got pulled from DC, Marvel, Image Comics, and the other indies. We'll get over that real quick. And then at the very tail end of New Comic Book Weekly, we got unboxing action figures. So we got the Scarecrow. So yeah, definitely stay tight, hang tight for all those topics. Nightwing number 132. Man, Dan Watters, Dexter Soy, they're just killing it on this Nightwing title. Killing it, dude. Okay, we got Chewy Queso coming in again. He says, I'm excited to finally get Absolute Martian Manhunter tomorrow. Now, is that because a single issue's coming out? Or is that because like the trade's coming out? If the trade's coming out for Martian Manhunter, yeah, you guys are in for a treat, man. If you've been waiting to trade, if you've been trade waiting that's one of my favorites from DC. I'd have all of DC's titles right now. Martian Manhunter, Absolute Martian Manhunter must be, it's got to be top 3. It's got to be top 3. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's top 3 for sure, man. So, Absolute Martian Manhunter, that trade is going to be super sick. So we get the next kind of installment of this Nightwing series by Dan Watters, Dexter Soy. I've just been loving it. So, yeah, I definitely recommend it. I was saying that quite possibly I was liking it better than Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo's run. I know that's a hot take. I just like the darker kind of edge and the tone of this Nightwing series compared to the last one. A little light and hopeful. But I'm liking the kind of direction they're taking with this Nightwing series. Superman Unlimited number 7. So in theory, I've dropped this series, as we'll get into with my pull list. If you guys caught my New Comic Book Weekly a couple weeks ago, and I talked about the DC pulls, I was thinking about dropping Superman Unlimited, and I confirmed that with my shop. So I don't think they'll be getting me an issue of issue number 7 in my pull box, but we'll have to see. If this is the last one, that's fine. I think it's an all right series. It's not my favorite. I think that there are other Superman series that I'm liking a little bit more. I'm pulling a ton of stuff from DC, right? So something had to make get the cut, and I think Superman Unlimited, unfortunately, it's getting the cut. Not bad by any means, but I'm seeing in this one, so it looks like Dan Slott came up with the story, but the writer is Jeremy Adams. So I don't know what's going on with this one, man. And the fact that this series, Superman with his new powers and everything, the kind of emergence of kryptonite all over, like every criminal has kryptonite, right? So it's making the Superman family, they're working extra hard to keep the planet safe. None of that has anything to do with the rest of the DC series. So this series is kind of like siloed off. It's kind of like doing its own thing. Where does it take place in DC continuity and all that stuff? I don't know. The Nightwing issue a couple issues ago referenced Superman Unlimited, but that's it. Other than that, man, this series is just I don't know what it's doing, kind of what its purpose is in the grand scheme of DC continuity. All that being said, I think this will be my last one, or my shop that won't even have issue number 7 for me. And it's officially been a dropped series, man. Let me know what you guys think about Superman Unlimited, because I'm always curious what people think of that one. The Ultimates number 18. So we're coming to the end of this Ultimates title. What's the last issue coming out? Ultimates 21. Okay, so we still got a couple more. But yeah, number 18 coming out. Oh, great question from Seth the Tech. He says, "What comic studio have I been liking more lately?" It's always gonna be DC and Image Comics. I mean, that's just what I pull. Like when I get into my pull list that you guys see here, the DC side, there's a ton of DC pulls. Image Comics is right next to them, dude. They almost have the same amount of pulls as DC does. Definitely not pulling a ton of Marvel nowadays. I'm pretty picky with my Marvel pulls, but yeah, when it comes to which comic studio, it's a great question. Um, it's always been Image Comics for me, and then in DC, pretty heavy DC reader. I'm excited about this Ultimates title, man. I've said that this Ultimates title might be my favorite out of the Ultimates universe. I know that's like maybe kind of a hot take. I know people really love Ultimate Spider-Man. For me, Ultimate Spider-Man, like issue to issue, it's like not a ton happened, every single issue. But I feel like with the Ultimates, they're always doing interesting stuff. Dennis Camp, like those issues like where they tell 4 stories at once and they're really focused on the Fantastic Four, right? Like stuff like that, or like that Luke Cage issue, right? Really cool stuff coming out of this Ultimate series. And for my money, they're doing more impressive stuff over there than the rest of the Ultimate universe. But Ultimate's number 18, it seems like we're going to be getting is the Maker coming out? Is the Maker finally coming out? I know they've been teasing it, kind of building up to it for a while. We're excited about the Ultimates number 18. And then last but not least, haven't dropped it from my pull list yet, guys. We're picking up Wonder Woman number 27. It's like one of those weird things where I have not caught up with Wonder Woman. I'm probably like this entire Mouse Man arc, no idea what's going on with it. Have not been tuned in. I need to catch up. I've been meaning to on DC Universe Infinite, so that way I can decide once and for all if I'm cutting this series. But yeah, have not caught up. I'm sure my shop will have me a copy of Wonder Woman 27. Stuff dealing with the Rat Man, Mouse Man guy. I don't know, but yeah, that's it for my weekly pull list. That's how we're looking for November 19th. In theory, we've got 13 pulls, but it might be that Superman Unlimited, my shop has cut it for me, so it might be 12 pulls. They might not have a Batman Deadpool for me either. I have to check, but yeah, so that's the pull list for the week of November 19th. Always love going over the pull list with you guys. Let's get into some comic book reviews, man. So, got a big stack here, as you guys can see. Quick rundown of what we're going to be reviewing. We got End of an Era for Batman Dark Patterns. End of an Era for We're Taking Everyone Down With Us. Excellent stuff there. And then the Power Fantasy. Excellent stuff, dude. This was like one of my favorite issues of the series. Really crazy stuff there. Beneath the Trees Nobody Sees. Another excellent issue from Patrick Horvath. Transformers, they're just killing it. Robert Kirkman, Dan Moore, when they take over the title. Pretty action packed there. Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum. I usually don't like fifth dimensional imp stuff, but we'll get into that. I thought that was a pretty good issue. Pretty good issue of Fantastic Four. Not like the craziest issue at all of all time. It's kind of just a nice quick sci-fi sort of read. And then I just read this Ultimate Wolverine issue number 11, man. So let's get into it, dude. Let's start off with what I think was the best read of the week. We're talking Batman Dark Patterns, dude. Listen, if you guys are waiting on Batman Dark Patterns to come out in a trade, I get it. I get it. But man, this has been excellent all the way throughout. You've been really missing out if you haven't been picking up at singles. Set the Tech with another good question. He says, which comic do I think should have had a shorter run? That's a good question. I'll have to think about that. I don't know. Because like usually, right, if you're a comic book creator and you've got a plan for a series, you plan it out for how many issues it's going to be. I feel like series don't tend to like drag on for too long. I feel like a creator kind of knows where to end it. Usually I'm wanting more from a creative team, more from a series, right? Like I wish a series was longer. Like this one is a great example. I wish Batman Dark Patterns was not just 12 issues. I wish it was hundreds of issues, man. This has been excellent stuff. As we see, this is the conclusion. So it's all been driving to this. If you guys see down here, this is case number, it doesn't say down there. This is case number 4, right? So the way that this series has been working, every 3 issue chunks is like a new case for Batman to, figure out something in Gotham's going on. Someone has got to stop. And this kind of shows that all those cases were kind of all connected. They're all driving to one point. And this is the conclusion, man. So Dan Watters killing it on a Batman title, just a more down to earth sort of detective, like straight detective Batman story. There's no Robin, right? It's just Batman doing his thing kind of earlier in his career. It's got some great artwork though from Hayden Sherman, an artist who's just killing it. You guys are probably well familiar with Hayden Sherman's work, killing it over on Absolute Wonder Woman. We got a great question coming in from Chewy Case. So he says, would it be 1 or 2 trades for Dark Patterns? I don't know how long it is, but I hear nothing but great things. I think, if I'm not mistaken, trade 1 is out for Batman Dark Patterns. I would think that includes the first 2 cases, so the first 6 issues. And then I think you just have to wait for that second trade to come out. But dude, when this comes out in a deluxe edition, because deluxe editions can be 13 issues, that's going to be like one of the best deluxe editions of all time, dude. Like an instant classic. So really looking forward to that. As I'm flipping through, though, you're seeing the excellent artwork from Hayden Sherman. It's this fire guy who's trying to create like this renewal in Gotham City by burning it down, and then hopefully from the ashes a better city can emerge. Is kind of his thinking, and Batman's got to put a stop to it. So this kind of guy, kind of how he's different from Firefly and some of the other fire-based Batman villains, but yeah, man, just look at this excellent stuff from Hayden Sherman. The kind of swirly smoke, fire effects. He's got a great look for Batman in the Batmobile and all the other important things in Batman's mythos. I just think that Batman Dark Patterns is like one of those series that most people need to read. If you're looking for just that down to earth Batman, dude, I know that a lot of people they don't like how it's so mystical sometimes, deals with magic and everything. This is just straight detective Batman. So I think it's excellent. I thought it concluded really well, really satisfying conclusion. We're just hoping for more in Dan Watters and Hayden Sherman. We need this duo to continue working because it's excellent stuff. So Batman Dark Patterns, first review that I want to talk about. Next up, we're taking everyone down with us. If you guys are like me and you're looking for like spy stories, right? Like there's not a ton of spy comic books. This one has definitely scratched that itch. The lighting's all messed up here. Hold on. But this is written by, excuse me. This is written by Matthew Rosenberg, who I'm a big fan of. I've been a big fan of for a long time. I think Matthew Rosenberg is one of the most funny writers in the comic book game. There were literal laugh out loud moments in this read. And it's all focused on this girl named Annalise. Her dad, she had like a weird upbringing. Her dad was like this evil, mad scientist, spy guy, kind of keeping her in hiding. And her dad was going to war with this guy's organization, like the opposite spy organization, them going back and forth, right? And Annalise, one day, like the island that they're hiding on, they get attacked by this dude's organization, and her dad, you know, kind of get into a scuffle or whatever, and they're trying to break out of the island. The dad like turns into a robot. He like swaps his consciousness in the robot's mind. So it's got like this robot here. So it's got like a sci-fi slant to it. It's like a sci-fi sort of spy story, and it's been excellent, action packed all the way throughout. I think this Annalise character is such a badass, like one of the coolest comic book characters that I've seen in a while. And yeah, it's just a funny story from Matthew Rosenberg with that writing. As we see here, Annalise bites this dude's finger off, right? So this dude, like this Rook guy, the spy character, he is hilarious, dude. So hopefully we see more of him. And in fact, I think there's going to be a sequel series to this. Matthew Rosenberg has announced, so I'm looking forward to that. Rosenberg Landini, excellent spy story. That's really funny. And yeah, it concludes with issue number 6. So if you guys are waiting for this one, definitely check it out when it comes out in trade. I think that one's excellent. The Power Fantasy number 13. Wow, crazy revelations in the last couple issues. In this one, it's kind of the fallout from the Etienne character. He killed someone's kid, and kind of the ramifications of that. So we get another meeting with all the powerful people, kind of go over the lay of the land, the kind of situation that they all find themselves in. Because we know that this story is like a Cold War. It keeps escalating. If you, super powerful person, if you try to come after me, I will come after you and kill a million people, right? And so it's kind of like this escalating tension that's sort of been going for the last couple of issues. And yeah, it's really tense when we see all these main characters from the story. They're kind of dealing with the fallout of the last issue. The moral question of this Etienne character, turns out he's a villain, guys. He's kind of villainous, kind of his idea and where he thinks that the U.S. should be, and I don't know, just he wants to control everything, but he thinks it's for a moral reason and all that stuff. But yeah, crazy stuff in the Power Fantasy. Just another crazy thing that happens in this one. Every single issue, something crazy happens, and yeah, Power Fantasy, excellent stuff from Kieran Gillen and Casper Wingard. You guys got to be reading it. Casper Wingard's got like the best art in the game, and then Kieran Gillen, it's a page turning story, man. Every single issue is like something that I got to read as soon as it comes out, and the revelations are just crazy. You don't want to get that one spoiled for you. One of my favorite, probably my favorite Image comic series, like full stop. It's got to be my favorite. Excellent stuff there. Hopefully it goes on for like 40 plus issues. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Patrick Horvath bringing us a great issue, just continuing it, man. So for those that don't know, this one is all about, she's not on the cover. There's this bear character named Samantha. She's a serial killer who lives in a small town. That was the first volume of the story. The second volume is all about this duck character who comes into the town. She's looking for evidence of like her brother, because the Samantha Bear character killed the brother in the first volume. So it's kind of like, this girl is trying to hunt down and find any information she can about her brother, but she's working with the Samantha Bear to find the brother. And it's kind of tricky because Samantha the bear knows what happened to her brother. She killed him, right? So it's like this very sort of interesting situation they all find themselves in. Seth the Deck says, how James Gunn built the world of Guardian of the Galaxy. Would you like to see something like that in Superman Woman of Tomorrow, like we see in the comic? That's an interesting question. I think that, yeah, I'd like to see something like that in Woman. I don't know how they're going to take Woman of Tomorrow. They're going to go super like by the comic book. Then maybe it's just straightforward adaptation, and there's not need to kind of do interesting things like that. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. But yeah, Beneath Trees Where Nobody Sees, it's just an excellent series, man. So something happens in this that's insane. And yeah, we'll have to see what happens in the next one. But yeah, just really curious how this series is going to wrap up. Is Samantha the Bear, is she going to get away with it? All those murders she's been doing over the last couple of decades, right? Transformers 26. I don't know if you guys dropped the series when the last creative team left. Obviously, we had Jorge Corona doing the art. We had Daniel Warren Johnson, the absolute legend, on the writing. I know a lot of people might have dropped the series then. I was thinking about it honestly, but I'm pretty invested in the Energon universe. Wanted to keep it going. Look at this excellent artwork from Dan Mora. There was a point in time where I was like, hey, I don't know Dan Mora. Is he the right pick for a Transformers? Because in my mind, he's got such a clean look, right? Like straight edges. Um, I just couldn't see Dan Mora's artwork in like I couldn't see the Transformers in Dan Mora's artwork, but I think he's been nailing it. So definitely kind of alleviated some of my worries there. I wish that the light, I wish that the light was brighter, dude, so you guys could see the comic. Is that that's probably as better the best it's gonna go. But yeah, I think this has been excellent so far. It's not as action packed as Daniel Warren Johnson's run, and we'll have to see what happens with all of the Decepticons. They're kind of hanging out in their own little base under the ocean, right? And the Autobots are working with the U.S. government, possibly. It's kind of interesting to see with there's this U.S. government like general dude. I think his name is literally like General Flag. They're always named General Flag, dude. But the sort of general dude, what's his sort of ulterior motives? Why is he helping the Autobots so much? Besides, like he knows that the Autobots are the good guys out of the two, Decepticons and the Autobots. But why is he helping them so much? And what is he getting out of this? Right. So we'll have to see what happens. Obviously, Optimus, he doesn't think that this guy could be bad, right? But I have a feeling something's gonna turn, and we'll see what this guy's ulterior motives are. But yeah, man, I thought that one thing I will mention, the look for Carly and Spike. I was like, yeah, I guess that's Carly and Spike. It's just interesting to see Daniel Warren Johnson doing his character designs and Jorge Corona continuing them. But then you get Dan Mora coming in and kind of doing his interpretation of those designs and they look a little different, you know. But anyways, kind of like an anime sort of style. But that's what we got. Transformers 26. I'm continuing it, man. They got me intrigued where the story's going. Couple more issues to talk about. I think there's four more. There's three more. Let's talk about Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum. I don't like fifth dimensional imp stories typically, man. But something about the team behind Ice Cream Man doing it, it really worked for me. It was kind of like the exact right amount of zaniness that I was sort of expecting. Superman is trapped in the fifth dimension. Um, he is trapped in this world of imagination, right? And the rest of the heroes, namely Lois Lane and Batman, they're working with Doctor Fate to try to get Superman out of this sort of dream state that he finds himself in. And this issue got wacky, dude. So if you're into wacky fifth dimensional stories, as you're seeing here, the art style changes. At one point, it changes to like a spreadsheet. Like if you were to do a comic book in a spreadsheet format, just really insane stuff, man. Ross Wilson with the hot take. He says James Gunn is a one-trick pony. I'm not even gonna step in that one, dude. I'll just let that one simmer for the chat to get involved in, dude. But yeah, I thought Kryptonite Spectrum was a great read. Um, this series overall, I think has been really good. I think it was that last issue where he's hanging out with Shazam that I wasn't the biggest fan of. Um, but yeah, dude, we got this new Cal Elf coming in. We'll have to see if he makes an appearance ever again in DC continuity. Lex Luthor has created a clone called like Kryptonite Man. So Kryptonite Man and Superman are probably going to duke it out next issue. Now that Superman has sort of fixed the fifth dimension. So yeah, I don't know, dude. It's as we see here, great comment here. We got Tomb 16. He says that he sadly dropped the Kryptonite Spectrum. I enjoyed it. I just wanted to read it on DC Universe Infinite. I get that. It's not a must read, like must pick up series. Mainly, I got it because I'm a huge fan of DC Black Label. I've been collecting DC Black Label for a long time. It's just like some of the more interesting, kind of like off the wall sort of stories from DC. I tend to like DC Black Label a lot. And this is the same creative team as Ice Cream Man. So them doing a DC story, I was really curious how that would work. I'm with you though. I don't blame anybody for dropping it. Definitely check it out if you get a chance on DC Universe Infinite. Might make for a good trade if you're into wacky sort of stories. Very Silver Age sort of inspired. Like it gives me, as I was flipping through, you guys saw the artwork, very similar to like a Frank Quietly kind of style, and the writing from W. Maxwell Prince, kind of like a Grant Morrison sort of inspired. You can tell that this creative team really loves Superman and Superman continuity. So yeah, man, I'd recommend Kryptonite Spectrum, maybe only for the diehard, gotta read everything kind of Superman fan. Um, and then we got some the arguments in the chat going, what do you mean by one trick pony? Hopefully you guys figure that out in the chat. I'm a bigger fan of James Gunn than maybe it sounds like Ross Wilson is, but yeah, that brings us to Fantastic Four issue number 5. And this issue all the boys were on a little boys trip. They're doing a little fishing in the negative zone. That leaves Sue Storm and Ben Grimm's wife, Alicia. They're stuck at home when they get a knock at the door. Black Cat needs some help. She needs someone to bail her out and to prove that she didn't like murder a dude and rob a bank. So Sue Storm and Alicia have to sort of figure out a creative way to you know get the Black Cat out of prison and kind of clear her name because she turns out she didn't kill the dude, even though it seems like something Black Cat might do. She didn't this time, all right? So just like a fun sort of, I don't even know how to describe it. Like just a fun side issue, like a one issue type of story. It's interesting because this Fantastic Four series, right? Like when I was reading it with the previous volume of Ryan North stuff, it's not that like every single issue was like its own story. Like maybe it's like a two issue, three issue sort of thing. It seems like now they're kind of just going for like you can just pick up any issue of Fantastic Four and start reading it. So far, none of the issues have kind of like tied together besides the first two. So yeah, we'll have to see if that's the direction that Ryan North's taking it. Is just like, hey, anybody could pick up Fantastic Four and start reading it. You don't need to necessarily worry about, oh, I missed last issue. What happened last issue, right? You can just start reading it. So Fantastic Four, continuing to be really fun. I think that the artwork from Humberto Ramos is a great look for Fantastic Four. Yeah, just like an interesting little side story. So we'll have to see if that sort of continues. Last but not least, let's talk about Ultimate Wolverine, issue number 11. Man, what a heartbreaking issue, dude. Not to like spoil it for anybody if you haven't read it yet, but we see the opposition, which is the kind of group that Wolverine is hanging out with. They're kind of like the Rebel Alliance or whatever, going up against. We got Magic and Colossus. Those are the bad guys. They work for the Makers Council, and the Makers Council, they're trying to get rid of the opposition, right? It makes sort of sense. So they're going to try to kill Wolverine and the gang by dropping a bomb on them. And I won't show you what happens, dude. It's pretty sad stuff. So another excellent issue of Ultimate Wolverine from Chris Conan. I think he's just killing it in the comic book game just in general. But this is a really fun corner of the Ultimate Universe. And then Cappuccio on the art, dude, killing it. I love Cappuccio's style. You got to see Cappuccio on more interior stuff, man. He's excellent. I'm interested to see what Cappuccio is doing next. He was doing such great work on that Moon Knight run from a couple years ago. So I'm a real big fan of Cappuccio's stuff. And that's it, dude. That's what we got for weekly comic book reviews. Everything that I read last week for New Comic Book Day. Did I miss anything, guys? Did I miss anything important? Let me know down in the comments. Let's see. Tommy B, he says he enjoyed the first four issues of Fantastic Four a lot. It makes you want to go back and read Ryan North's previous trades. That's how I was collecting the series in longest time. I was collecting it in trades. I think I have like trade 3, something like that. I'm up to trade 3. And then I eventually just stopped, collecting in trades, and I'm like reading on Marvel Unlimited. But yeah, I've been loving Ryan North's run. I wish I had collected it in singles all the way throughout because I think that would have been pretty cool. But yeah, I got the new volume and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. So that's what we got, guys, for weekly comic book reviews. Of course, we already did our weekly pull list for everything coming out tomorrow for New Comic Book Day. In a little bit, we're gonna unbox this, DC Multiverse. We got the McFarlane Scarecrow, the classic kind of look. So because Joker needs a friend, dude. So we unboxed the Joker a couple weeks ago. We'll get the Scarecrow open in a little bit. But first, I just wanted to quickly go over my pull list with you guys. So I went over the DC stuff, previously. Hopefully I can go over the Marvel stuff today. Is this the best way to do it on my notebook? I have no idea. I also kind of want to cover maybe like a surprise kind of thing. So yeah, this is my pull list, guys. If you aren't familiar with the pull list, you go down to the local comic book store. You say, hey, I'd like to subscribe to some series. They'll give you a sheet. You write them down, and from then on, they'll order you your stuff on the list, dude. So, see them arguing in the chat, dude, about James Gunn. Interesting to see how that's playing out. Christopher Nolan is another one-trick pony. Dang, dude. Some hot takes in the chat, dude. Some hot shakes in the chat. Yeah, okay. So let's go over it. Let's go over the DC real quick, like very quick, okay? So the absolutes, we got Absolute Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, and The Flash. So those 5 are just a lock. I'm so into the Absolute Universe, having a ton of fun reading those. We got Batman, Superman, and technically we got Wonder Woman. So the big 3. I like to stay tuned what's going on with the big 3 and their main titles. So we got that. Adventures of Superman, I've been enjoying because it's got Philip Kennedy Johnson continuing his story. Green Arrow is about to end. Sad. Nightwing's been excellent. Batgirl's been excellent. Birds of Prey is about to end. So, yeah, so Green Arrow and Birds of Prey about to end, but I'm continuing with the Nightwing and the Birds of Prey, or sorry, and Batgirl. Nightwing and Batgirl is so sick. DCKO Night Fight. So, the question for you guys in the chat: how are we feeling about all the DCKO tie-ins? I'm doing the main title, and I was planning on doing DCKO Night Fight. Not sure if I'm gonna be doing all of the tie-ins. Bunch of one shots coming, man. I think I'm gonna wait for DC Universe Infinite to catch most of those. But yeah, definitely the main title in DCKO Night Fight. Arcadia. So that's going to be a crossover with The Question, Batman, and Green Arrow. It's a DC Black Label series. Like I was saying earlier, I really like DC Black Label, so I plan on picking that up. And then we got some of the DC Vertigo titles when they come back: Bleeding Hearts, End of Life, and Peril of the Brutal Dark. So those 3 plus Nice House by the Sea, which obviously I was picking up previous, but that's going to be DC Vertigo now. So those 4 are some nice DC Vertigo coming out. And then last but not least, we have the Arc M special. Some of the Absolute Universe getting a little one shot Arc M special. I have to see what's going on with that, but plan on picking that up. Let's move over to the Marvel. Marvel, guys. All right. So, like I was saying, I'm pretty picky with the Marvel. I don't pick up just every single thing Marvel. Um, so this is what I got. This is what I got. Let me know if I should be adding some stuff to my Marvel pools. Start off with Fantastic Four. We just went over it. I'm liking Humberto Ramos and Ryan North. I think they're a great pair. Just keep killing it. Fun sci-fi stories, focusing on family, right? So just like good vibes all around. Fantastic Four has been great. Captain America, Chip Zdarsky, Valerio Schiti, they're just killing it. I'm really, really into the Captain America series. That might be my favorite Marvel comic out right now. Is that a hot take? Are we liking Captain America? Um, more comments on Gun. We also have Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Wolverine, and the Ultimate. So those are the 3 ongoing Ultimate titles. Gonna finish those out. Obviously, the Ultimate Universe is coming to an end. Crazy to say, but those are the 3 main ones. I haven't been reading Ultimate Black Panther. I have not been reading Ultimate X-Men. I can catch those on Marvel Unlimited. I probably should, as we're coming to a close on the Ultimate Universe, but those are not on my pull list. They haven't been for a while. The Ultimate Universe 2 years in, you gotta pick that up because that's just a, nice little one shot, what's going on with the Ultimate Universe. I tend to pick those up. And then Ultimate Endgame, the series. So, I think that's like the final event of this Ultimate Universe, closing it out, the Maker versus all of our heroes that we've been meeting so far for the last 2 years or so. So, yeah, Ultimate Endgame should be pretty good. Moving over to the DC Comics, guys. The DC pull list, or sorry, the Image pull list. God, I'm an idiot. Um, Tommy B, he says Cap has been good. I'm excited for what's to come. Dude, I don't know if it's a hot take, but I think it's my favorite Marvel comic out right now. Like I think Captain America is just killing it. Oh, we got some bad news here. Alter Bedwar said Mr. Terrific Year 1, my heart is heavy. I missed that one, dude. I did not catch it in single issues. I plan on reading it all now that it's out. Try to binge it all in DC Universe Infinite, but I know that people have been loving that one. So yeah. Um, Cody, I hope you're gonna put Nemesis on my pull list. Oh, you might have been the guy who commented earlier about Nemesis, right? I don't know Nemesis at all, so I'll have to back up and read some old Nemesis stuff before I add the new one to my pull. That's interesting though. I've heard mixed things about Nemesis, but you're a big proponent of it, so I gotta check it out. And yeah, just going backing up to Mr. Terrific Year 1. Yeah, I know a lot of people were loving that one. Mr. Terrific's having a great year. So hopefully they get some more love. Mr. Terrific, um, just an excellent character. People are loving him. So hopefully they can get him a mini, get him a solo, something like that. All right, talking about Image Comics. G.I. Joe, that's a must pull, okay? G.I. Joe is my favorite part of the Energon universe. That's an easy pull. Assorted Crisis Events. Now, that is my favorite anthology series on stands. I think Dennis Camp is just killing on that one. Some like real thinkers, like they'll really make you feel every single issue. So, yeah, if you're gonna like Twilight Zone or stuff like that, which I'm a big fan of, Assorted Crisis Events is itching that for real. Um, would you say a Spider-Man Blue is a good read? Because I have been hearing about it. So Spider-Man Blue. That's the Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb story, right? So I actually have not. That's funny. That's funny you bring it up. So I have not read Spider-Man Blue. I've not read um what's the can I just pull it up? I don't know where it is. Oh, hold on. All right, so just because you mentioned it, all right. So this right here, see this Omni, Daredevil yellow, Spider-Man blue, Hulk gray, Captain America white. I've not read any of those stories, but I have the Omni, and one of my like a reading goal or something. I was trying to make a video where I cover one story a week, so the full month will be like kind of focused on Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So I have the Omni, which all these stories included. Um, but yeah, have not read Spider-Man Blue actually. That's pretty crazy. I know a lot of people say good things about it, but I have not read it yet. We got some comments backing it up. Okay, getting back to the Image comic pull list because Rook Exodus is definitely. Did I not write Rook Exodus? I must have. Damn, I don't think I wrote Rook Exodus. Am I an idiot? Definitely really loving it. I did a full reread and got ready for the second volume, and I've been loving the second volume. So Rook Exodus is definitely an ad. Oops. The Terrifics. Hold on. Backing it up, backing it up. Alter Bed Wars says, I've read Yellow and Blue. They're fantastic. 10 out of 10 books, in my opinion. Yeah, I got to do that. I got to do that soon. Maybe like in January. That could be like a cool project. So maybe I can use that. I can use that Omni as one of my January reads. Hot take: the G.I. Joe movies are good. That might not be that hot of a take. I haven't seen them. They've been a while. Isn't The Rock in one of those? And then Tommy B says that Omni is sick. He didn't know that existed. I think it's like pretty out of print. So I was really lucky to find that for, I think it was just cover price. So I was really happy with that. Um, and yeah, just having all the four in one collection. And then Entomb, Entomb MTG, Entomb Magic the Gathering says, gotta pull Rook Exodus for sure. I don't know why I didn't have that on my list. I'm gonna have to let my shop know because I think the email I sent them, it might have been missing Rook Exodus. But anyways, all that being said, getting back to the pull list, right? Transformers, just another great part of the Energon universe. Loving Transformers so far, with the Dan Mora and Josh Williams, Dan Mora and Robert Kirkman jumping on. I think they've been killing it. Power Fantasy, I was just talking about my favorite Image comic book on stands without a doubt. Die Loaded, another series from Kieran Gillen. I'm reading Die right now, and I've never read it before, but I wanted the sequel series on my pull list, so I'm gonna be picking up Die Loaded. Hopefully, I can finish Die this month, and then it's excellent so far. I've been loving it, so I'm sure I'm gonna love Die Loaded when I get to it. Exquisite Corpses, you got to be reading the newest James Tynion the Fourth Hotness. You just gotta, you know what I mean? He's one of the hottest writers in the game, and he's that for a reason. He's just killing it on series like Exquisite Corpses. I've had a lot of fun with that one. Everything Dead and Dying. That's a zombie sort of story. We talked about it a little bit. I've been liking Everything Dead and Dying. That first issue was like mind blowing stuff. One of the best issue number ones of the year so far. So yeah, definitely continuing to pick up Everything Dead and Dying. Should be like a short little, you know, mini series. I don't expect it going for you know, tens and tens of issues. I think it's gonna be nice and short. News from the Fallout, that's about to end. It's gonna end tomorrow, I think, with the release of issue number 6. I think. Yeah, I think so. So another series from Chris Connon just killing it. We got Geiger. Okay, so Geiger is an important one because as you guys notice on my list, I don't have a ton of Ghost Machine titles. I'm a big fan of Ghost Machine, but besides Rook Exodus and Geiger, I'm not really pulling a ton of Ghost Machine stuff. That's usually because my library has a lot of the Ghost Machine stuff available to read digitally, like day and date. So I've been able to get by reading a lot of the other Ghost Machine titles through my library. But I gotta pick up Geiger and I gotta pick up Rook Exodus. Those are like a must pick up. Skinbreaker has been fun so far. It's written by Robert Kirkman with artwork from David Finch, I believe, and it's got really, really detailed, great artwork. The story is not like the craziest thing in the world. We did have a time jump in the last issue, which was pretty interesting. So I'll have to see what happens with the rest of that series. But I think Skinbreaker is pretty good. Universal Monsters. I put that on my poll to tell my shop, just like, hey, anything Universal Monsters, just get it for me in single issues, man. Because I've been picking up the Dracula, you got the Creature of the Black Lagoon, you got the Frankenstein, you got the Mummy, and then of course Invisible Man is coming out right now, and it's just been excellent. So any future Universal Monster stuff, if Invisible Man's the end of the Universal Monsters kind of thing that they've been doing, I think they've been successful in kind of bringing it back for a new audience. So we'll have to see if they continuing Universal Monsters. Is it kind of it? I'm not sure, but I added it on my poll anyways. Escape. Escape has been excellent. Here we go. Here we go. Backing it up, we got some questions. Seth the Tech says, "What Image comic have been not what you thought it was?" That's a good question. I feel like Image comic just in general surprises me a lot. Um, like Assorted Crisis events, right? You pick it up and you read the solicit. Oh, it's like some timey-wimey, like sci-fi anthology. Okay, cool, I'll pick it up. But then it just like blows your mind. Like I think what was it, issue number 4 of Assorted Crisis events, the one that dealt with migrant communities from like another dimension and kind of holding up a mirror into what we're seeing, just like turning on the news and just like looking outside, all the craziness. So I don't know, dude, like stuff like that. Image Comic, they're just like pushing the bounds, kind of pushing the envelope more than other publishers, I feel. So a lot of the experimental stuff, the surprising stuff comes out from Image Comics for sure. Ross Wilson says Universal's Invisible Man is an excellent pickup, dude. Especially after that last issue where we kind of have the true who the Invisible Man is. Yeah, it was a crazy twist, dude. I've been loving it. Paul Dev says, "Have you seen Scott Snyder talking about bringing Witches back with a volume 2 after working with Jock again on Absolute Batman number 15?" That is excellent news. If that happens, dude, because obviously we have the Witches trade. It says volume number 1 on the side. Everybody's always wondering about volume number 2. That'd be sick. That'd be sick, dude. I'd love to see that. I've said it. I've said it. I did a video for the month of October. I had a Halloween horror recommendation series that I did like every week, and one of them I recommended Witches. I was saying that's my favorite horror series, dude. I think it still is. So yeah, if they bring Witches back, I think it's excellent. We got Chewy Queso says, "Agree, Ross. It was an unexpected treat." Probably referring to Universal Invisible Man, dude. So yeah, everybody's loving Universal Monsters. Going back to the pull list, where was I? Oh, Escape. If you're into war comics, there's not like a ton of war comics out there, but if you are looking for one, Escape from Rick Remender is like the best war comic on stands for sure. In terms of Image Comics, it's probably number 2, honestly. Like it probably goes Power Fantasy, and then my next favorite Image comic series is Escape. Like if you guys aren't reading Escape, you're really missing out. It's just excellent anthropomorphic animals, right? Which might be a turnoff for some, but it's hardcore, dude. It's pretty gritty, and it's just World War II story that's kind of like 1917. If you've seen that, it's kind of like Saving Private Ryan sort of vibes, right? So yeah, definitely check out Escape. It's really good. Almost finished up here. Giant Size Criminal. Criminal's coming back for a little one shot around the Christmas time, so I made sure to tell my shop to pick me up that. Rook Exodus, I already covered. Bug Wars, I really enjoyed Bug Wars from earlier in the year. They're coming back with volume number 2 next year. So if you guys are into, I don't know how to describe it. It's like Ant Bully mixed with Game of Thrones, or it's like Game of Thrones mixed with like Bug's Life or something, right? So really crazy stuff. And then they also have a one shot coming out that's focused on the Spider Witches. I think that's pretty cool. One of the cooler kind of groups in the world of Bug Wars. So I'll see what happens with that. And then the last two, we got Voice Said Kill and Lucky Devils. Those are just series that I've been pulling, and I'm just gonna finish them out in single issues. Um, Nothing super crazy. Lucky Devils, same creative team as 8 Billion Genies, but it's not my favorite series on stands. And then Voice Said Kill, Cy Spurrier, got some got some qualms with Cy Spurrier. He's pretty wordy kind of guy. Not my favorite writer in the world, but Voice Said Kill has artwork from Vanessa Del Rey, who I'm a big fan of. So gonna continue in pulling that series and close it out. If you guys see up here, before we get into the other, if you guys see up here the drops. So I dropped Absolute Green Lantern, Superman Unlimited. I dropped JSA, which is a tough one to drop because that's a Jeff Lemire story. That I was a big fan of Jeff Lemire, right? But not the biggest fan of his JSA story. And then I dropped Detective Comics, which I wasn't disliking that one. It's just I'm reading so many Batman stuff, dude. So something has to get the drop. And then I think I was dropping the series Shredder from IDW. Dan Waters, which I'm a big fan of Dan Waters, the writer, but I'm just not like the biggest fan of the Shredder series. It's okay. We got some comments. Tommy B coming back and he says hype for Bug Wars returning. Me too, man. Bug Wars is great. Jason Aaron, one of my favorite writers in the game. He's just killing it. And the world that they created, Bug Wars. Hopefully that goes for like a long time, dude. Like there's no way that can just be 2 volumes, all the work that they put in. I've been really liking Bug Wars. Um so is killing the children a good read? And then we got Chewy Queso replying to Seth. He's saying, Seth, it's a 10 out of 10. It's excellent. Seth, if you haven't read Something's Killing Children, I read um the deluxe edition volume number 1. I read that last month for the month of October. I haven't read volume number 2 yet. So I think I'm on issue like 12, right? So I haven't read the rest of the series, but I've been loving it so far. There's a reason why it's one of the best selling, indie series and one of the most popular indie series right now. You can't go wrong with Something Is Killing the Children. It's really good. Not one that I'm reading in singles though. That's a good point though. Um, Ross Wilson, another hot take from Ross. Full of hot takes, dude. He says that the main character is kind of unbearable. I don't know. I don't agree with that. Hands up on that one. I don't know. Okay, so let's finish out the pull list, and then we can get to unboxing the Scarecrow McFarlane toys. All right. So Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. I was just talking about that. Patrick Horvat's killing it. Excellent volume number 1. If you guys haven't checked it out, volume number 2 has the potential to be even better. One of the crazier twists in this volume 2, and then kind of the interesting kind of scenario that we find ourselves in. I'm interested to see if Beneath the Trees will end here with volume number 2, or if it's something that Patrick Horvat wants to keep going. High Strangeness is an anthology series that I had on my list for the first 2. I don't know if I'll keep it going after that, but I definitely want to support Zach Thompson, who's the writer for issue number 2 coming out. TMNT. So I'm reading the current Jason Aaron, Juan Ferreira stuff. I'm excited for the new creative team to jump on. A little bit disappointed that Jason Aaron and Juan Ferreira didn't get to do like a 40 plus issue like long TMNT run. Got kind of short, right, with only 12 issues, but I was loving it all throughout. I'm excited for the new creative team to jump on. I just feel like you just need to pull TMNT. I don't know, like there's something about it. Like you gotta be reading the newest Ninja Turtle stuff. And then last but not least, we got the series called Masterminds from Dark Horse Comics. I like supporting Zach Kaplan, a writer, sci-fi writer who I think is killing it all the time. So that's his series, his newest one called Masterminds. Good question from Paul Dev. He says that I wasn't so sure on Absolute Flash, and I thought of dropping it. Has the series gotten better? I'm considering adding it to my pull list, but heard conflicting things. So I would say, right, because if you see here, it's still on my pull list. It has gotten better, but not by much, if that makes sense. So the first arc, we're still kind of even getting there, right? Like we're not even at the point where we should be, honestly, like where the other absolute titles have gotten to this point already. Absolute Flash is still kind of working its way there. A lot of like I think so far it's had like 3 sort of like side story issues that sort of stop all the momentum. Like Absolute Flash could have 2 really good issues, and then it has like a sort of side, like spin-off sort of story focusing on the rogue, right? And it's like that's not bad, right? It's a fun read, but I'm in this story for the Wally West character. You know what I mean? Like this kid struggling, going through some stuff. He's like a runaway. Like I'm in for the Wally West character, but Jeff Lemire's got other plans, right? So when it comes to possibly adding it to your pull list, Paul Dev, I don't know. It's tough, dude. I would say if you were pulling it already and you didn't like it, I would say maybe keep it off the pull list, right? But if it's something that you were reading it and you thought the first couple issues were good, it has gotten better. So if that answers your question, it probably doesn't. That's pretty tough. Um, it's not my favorite DC series. So I get people dropping it. I don't blame them at all for dropping it, man. But that's what we got, guys. That's been the pull list. Okay, so the pull list update. This should say November. November. Oh, dude, we got LD Wheeling in the chat, bro. He says, "Yo, what's up?" You missed it, LD. We did some pull list updates. We also did some weekly comic book reviews, everything that came out last week, and then we talked about. Let me pull it up here. We did our weekly pull list for what's coming out tomorrow for New Comic Book Day, which of course means the last thing to do today before I let you guys get out of here. We got to unbox this McFarlane Toys. We got the Scarecrow. Great accessories on this guy. We got that like a scythe hook sort of thing. And then we got that skull that you can just be holding down there. No hand swaps. Yeah, no hand swaps. Anyways, guys, let's get them open. I'll show you guys the back as well. Nice DC classic, liking that art. I think this has got to be the coolest design for the Scarecrow. I know that they have the Infinite Frontier one from the James Tynion the fourth run, where he has like a kind of like a wide brim hat. He's like wearing a gas mask. That's cool. You know, that's a cool look, but I got to get the classic one, man. So this guy will be joining this McFarlane Toys Classic Joker here on the McFarlane Toys. We got the villain side over here. You guys can barely see it, but these will be nice additions to the shelf. Let's get this guy open, man. We got the name changes in the chat. It says Ola, what's up? My favorite part, dude, opening the McFarlane. It's actually my least favorite. They got so many like little plastic things, you know, and you gotta like get through them all. Okay. I should do this part probably before going live, and then you guys don't have to worry about it. But that's all right. We're just hanging out. You know, I would like to go live on Mondays instead of Tuesdays. A lot of technical difficulties stopping me, dude. Got the name changes coming in again, saying nice. What's up, dude? Nice. I'll show you guys the data file card. So of course, we got the data file card. Now, let's get this out of here. Scarecrow. DC Classic, Carnival of Criminals on the back. You guys can read all about him. Dr. Jonathan Crane, okay? Read up, guys. If you don't know about Scarecrow, there you go, dude. Hopefully that'll get you guys some knowledge on there. Seth the Tech says, so from what I've heard, is Absolute Batman and Superman the better of the Absolute titles? Honestly, it goes for me, Absolute Wonder Woman, then it goes Absolute Martian Manhunter, and then it goes Absolute Superman, and then it goes Absolute Batman, dude. So honestly, to answer your question, I think Batman is the fourth best. So not the best. I think Absolute Wonder Woman has got to be the best. That's been excellent. Of course, here, guys, we got a Dinky McFarlane stand. It's got the new DC Bullet logo, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. We got Paul Dev says, that looks sick. I'm not ready for McFarlane to lose the license. It's going to be a sad day. Do we know what the hell is going on with that? Because, like, obviously, there was that big news that they are losing the license. When are they losing it? Mattel hasn't shown what their figures look like yet, right? So I don't know what's going on with that. And in terms of like, what am I gonna do next, right? I don't think I'm gonna collect the Mattel ones. We'll have to see what they look like, obviously, but um, I think like, I mean, my whole thing was going for one line. So if McFarlane loses the license, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. Honestly, I haven't thought about it. That's kind of scary. Let's get this guy out of the plastic here. Oh, we got Tommy B says that card is sick. You know, I don't like mess around with the cards too much. I don't really like know what to do with them. I was thinking of doing like a frame or something. I don't know, but I have all my cards here from all my figures. I just keep, excuse me, sorry, burping a little bit. I just keep them in like a little plastic tin type of thing. But these are all the cards I've gotten. So you guys, I got a problem, as you can tell. Got a McFarlane Toys problem. All right. We got them out of the box. There we go here. I get to clean up these little plastic bits all over my room all the time. It's pretty great. And let's get the scythe out. I'm interested in the articulation of this guy, specifically his head. We'll have to see if I was able to whip his head around a lot. Got the scythe there. And then another comment from Paul Dev. Hold on here. Okay, we got the skull out. Boom. All right. Paul Dev says, I think we all know is that they'll lose it in the second half of next year. Man, they are putting out some great releases. It seems like McFarlane knows that they're about to lose the license, and they're putting out some of the stuff that people have been asking for, like classic Batgirl, for example, right? Pretty much all the classic designs. Like people have been wanting those more than anything, and it seems like he's finally delivering. Let's get the lighting a little better, something like that. I don't know. All right, check it out, guys. Out of the box already. Already, his head is not moving. Okay, you do get a 360, but it's kind of tough. Kind of tough. He's got this like thing around his neck that kind of stops it from doing like a full easy 360. Let's just take a look at the colors used, right? Okay. I think it's his. Oh, I thought his feet were out, like his toes, but no, it's just like like a boots kind of look. I like the burlap kind of look. Oh, dude, like the texturing and the paint. Like, look on the back, dude. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Nice, like paint effects on this guy. Yeah, dude. I think that they nailed it. I mean, look at this like head sculpt. That's like a creepy mask, and it's got like the actual like sewn in details. Like you can kind of run your finger across them. They're like raised. So I wonder what his like head looks like underneath this. Um, that's cool though. I mean, that looks like Scarecrow. That looks exactly like Scarecrow in my mind. Okay, let's continue with the articulation. So the head, you can do a 360, but it's not the easiest. Can you go down? Okay, we're looking down. We're looking up. That's about it. Not the best, guys. Not the best. I think again, it's that collar thing kind of stopping it from doing like the full range of motion, but that's all right. How uh how up and down does the Scarecrow's head need to be anyways, right? All right, let's move on to the arms. Got the full 360 on the shoulders. You can do the T pose plus a little more. So that's nice. Nice T pose there. Wait, why does one arm go up higher than the other? Something like that. Okay, so yeah, you do nice T pose. Of course, you get the 360 bicep swivel. It's always appreciated. I know people like that. You got the double jointed elbows, a McFarlane Classic. They're really crunchy. That's pretty cool there. And then, of course, on the wrist, you get the 360. You get the 360 on the wrist. I was worried a little bit. Um, okay, you get the 360. His nails are sharp, dude. You guys see that? I just like hurt my thumb wicked bad because his nails are sharp. So watch out for that. Ah, Jesus Christ. Dude, that pinky hurts, dude. All right, so careful just Careful to note, if you start spinning around his wrist, you might stab yourself in the. Okay. Ross Wilson, he says, Batman by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Chris Samney, Batman Year One, plus Batman Dark Patterns are better stories than Absolute Batman in my own. Don't disagree. Don't disagree. That Batman by Philip Kennedy Johnson, Batman and Robin series, I dropped off of that. Um, but yeah, I mean, Batman Dark Patterns and Batman and Robin Year One, I think those are better than Absolute Batman. Is that a hot take? It shouldn't be. All right, let's get back to the look at his abdomen, guys. We going up and down on the abdomen? No. No, we're not. That's as far crunched as it's getting, guys. The back, that's as far back. All right, so not the best there on the crunch. Let's try to get the lighting. Okay, there we go. Gonna have to start fear gonna start having fear toxin hallucinations after that cut, dude. It's like kind of okay, he's going back a little more once I kind of loosen him up a little bit. That's about as far back as you might need, right? For a scarecrow. And then let's do the legs. Of course, he's wearing like a skirt thing, so his legs are not getting the best range of motion. That's the back on the legs. Not the best. Forward, not the best forward either, guys. Of course, it's that classic McFarlane joint structure they always do. It's a pretty classic. Yeah, the legs not really moving up and down. It's kind of like this hard plastic skirt, not really bendable. Sometimes McFarlane would have a nice bendable skirt. But this one's kind of tough. And yeah, I like the patchwork on his legs. I just like the kind of like the wrapping, the coloring, the paint details. Let's get back to the knees. Crunchy double jointed knees. But yeah, you can't get them back that up. That's about as far up as I can get it. And then of course you got the toe articulation. That's a classic from McFarlane. Let's see, can you rotate the ankles at all? Yeah, that's a no on that one, guys. Rotating the ankles, I'm getting some resistance. I think just the fact that again, it's like this hard plastic sort of sculpted details that are sort of poking out and making it so you can't get the full range of motion. So a little bit unfortunate there. That's about as far as the swivel I can do. Same thing on the other side. So yeah, not the best articulated figure. For articulation, we might have to give it like a 5 or something, like just straight down the middle. Um, not the best articulated figure at all. It's tight in some places, it's loose in others. I don't know. I don't know. Let's get this in his hand. Again, you're gonna want to make sure to watch out for the sharp nails. It's actually kind of crazy. Um, his fingers, the way they're kind of sculpted, they're like really tough to get any oh, we got here. Seth the Tech says, so like how you read comics from more more one studio, do you collect action figures from more than one studio also? That's a good question. So I think for me, the kind of action figure lines I stick to, McFarlane Toys for the DC, and then obviously you got the Marvel Legends from Hasbro for any Marvel stuff. Actually, can you guys see? You guys see the Marvel kind of display down here? Actually, Wolverine fell down. I gotta fix him. I gotta fix him. But yeah, I don't collect too many of the Marvel figures. I would say um, mostly it's like Spider-Man like variants. That's kind of where I have the most fun with the Marvel side. Although I did unbox this Doctor Doom a couple weeks ago that I still haven't displayed. The Doctor Doom was sick, dude. If you guys missed this unboxing, dude, so sick, man. That's gotta be like a top 5 figure for me. This Doctor Doom. So that was a fun unboxing. You guys missed that one. Okay, trying to get this like scythe thing in his hand, but the other fingers, I'm having like really tough time opening them up to get the scythe in there, man. So we might not be able to get the scythe in there for the video. It's just like taking way too long. So that sucks. That sucks. Um, Come on, man. Something like that. Because you don't want to break any fingers too, but come on, dude. Dang, dude. Let's see here. Just backing it up. Let's see if I missed any comments. Paul Dev says, "Do you have any DC Mafex figures?" That's a good point. So yeah, when Seth the Tech asked if I collect any other brands, totally forgot about Mafex. So far I only have 3 Mafex figures. I have the Superman Hush. I have the Batman Hush. I think the Batman Hush I have is the. I want to say it's the blue. It's the blue variant for Batman. And then the only other Mafex I have is the Daredevil Mafex, because at that point there wasn't a cool Marvel Legends Daredevil that I really liked. Um, so I got the Mafex one, and that one's pretty sick. I think for Mafex, for me, I like Mafex a lot, but I'm not like trying to complete and get all the Mafex, right? Like I know some people go crazy. That's like their main figure brand. I could see myself getting the Nightwing, right? Like I could see myself getting like one or two other Mafex, but nothing crazy. Um, yeah, dude, this ain't happening, boys. This is not happening at all. Cannot get the scythe in his hand. Might have to like heat it up or some shit. That's annoying. Because obviously on the other side, that's not a scythe hand, and it didn't include any other hand swaps. This is like for the skull, dude. So you do the skull. Be holding the skull, trying to aura farm with a skull type of thing. Going Shakespeare on us, dude. So yeah, I mean that might be it. That might be it for New Comic Book Weekly, guys. If I can't get the scythe in the hand, but that's been the action figure unboxing and review. I would say that overall, you give this guy a look on the looks. This guy gets a 9. This guy gets a 9 for the looks and the paint applications. It's just that the articulation leaves a little bit to be desired. I'd give the articulation like a 5. Do you think there are more? Set the text says, do you think there are more New Comic Day YouTuber and Instagram influencers this year? Yeah, no, absolutely. Dude, the explosion of comic book content creators is kind of crazy. Obviously, I'm newer to the YouTube kind of side of things, but I've been doing it on the TikTok side of things for the last couple of years. And just seeing everybody kind of move over to the YouTube, moving over to the Instagram as well. It's a lot of fun, man. So yeah, I want like 100 more new comic book day YouTubers. So I have stuff to watch, man. So if you're out there thinking about making YouTube videos, you just set up with a camera and start talking like me, dude, for hours. And it's been working pretty well. So yeah, dude. Overall, I'd give this scarecrow. Let's give him like an 8. Let's give him like an 8. A little bit lacking on the, I mean, accessories that he comes with is kind of pitiful, right? So you get low marks on that. But I think for the figure itself, it's the definitive McFarlane Scarecrow. He hasn't done one that's cooler than this. I like all the rope details, the kind of burlap sacky sort of feel of it. The paint app I think is great. The head sculpt. It's just the articulation and the accessories a little bit lacking. But yeah, I think that'll do it, dude. New Comic Book Weekly. Every single week, guys. We're here. We're talking comic books. But on Mondays, I try to go live. So this is what New Comic Book Weekly is. I go live, talk about the comic books that are coming out this week, and then I talk about stuff that's coming out last week, and then we do some like variety topics. This time it was, of course, me going over my pull list. But next week, I think we'll talk about some of the number ones that are coming out in the month of December. Just try to get a feel on what's coming out that we might be excited for. And then obviously, every single New Comic Book Weekly, we got an action figure unboxing. I think next week we'll do. We might do this one. We might do this one. So we got Hugo Strange as Batman because I want to keep doing villains for a little bit. Or we might do. This might cause my entire stack to fall down, dude. Okay. Dude, emergency. Okay. And then we might do this one next week, actually. Besides the Hugo Strange, might do the Riddler. Always been a fan of the Riddler. It's the Riddler Hush design, more of a classic, sort of basic Riddler design. So we'll get this guy open next week, I think. Okay, just a couple more questions before I close it out. Paul Dev says, I hope you get to see you on another near mint condition live stream. That would be really cool. Man, dude, Omar loves me, dude. Omar keeps asking me to be on his panels for some lives that he does. I just can't do them because sometimes he's going live when I'm working, right? So um, it stinks. It stinks, dude. I want to join Omar for some more lives. You guys know that I've been on Omar's channel 3 times. I've been on Omar's channel 3 times, hanging out with him at C2E2 in person. Um, Getting into some trouble. I got some stories about Omar, guys. Some stories that might break the internet, dude, about Omar. But yeah, he's a fun guy. Love hanging out with him. Set the Texas W live, man. I think that'll close it out. Shout out. Thanks for everybody for joining me today. Paul Dev, Set the Tech. We got what Ross Wilson for the hot takes, dude. Much appreciated. Tommy B. Thank you guys for coming out, man. Omar is great. He is great. Chewy K, so you got it right, dude. So yeah, thank you guys for joining me. New Comic Book Weekly should be next Monday. We're not going to do it on Tuesday. We're trying to do it on Monday around 4 p.m. EST. And yeah,